Hi, I'm recording this on the 30th of December 2024. Last week I talked about the lifetime of the channel since I've started, and this week I wanted to talk about the last year. What I hadn't quite realised last week was, yes, we had just gone over our 5,000 subscribers, which was brilliant, but on the 28th of December it was exactly 7 years since I started doing the Before Discord stuff. As I've said before, the first 2 years I did a few videos, but with the start of COVID I started to do 1 or 2 videos a week, and that's how the channel sort of took off. So thank you again for watching. But the last year, it's been an interesting year. I've made about 50 videos, I've gone through a lot of cameras, but I've also done some slightly different stuff for me. I've actually got the darkroom back running again. I'm looking at doing some more photography that I sort of want to do, but I'll talk about that all as we go through this. Last January, I was going through a bit of a thing with English cameras. I used a Puma, I was going through some Coronet cameras, and I was fascinated by some of the design of some of those cameras. In particular, one camera which really stood out for me was the funny old Ilford Sprite, which was actually, I think, made by AGI, a plastic body, a very sort of modernist camera of the time, and it hasn't got any sprockets. Well, sorry, I mean the Rhinon is quite different in that camera. Not the best images, but a really interesting camera. And a lot of those cameras were things I picked up from auction or from eBay. I've spoken before how I obtain my cameras. Like most of you, it's probably from various sources. eBay is definitely a valuable resource, and so is camera fairs, and I'm a member of the Photographic Collectors Club of the of Great Britain, and we have regional meetings, and I buy quite a few cameras there. Still buy from car boot sales, and sometimes people might actually give you a camera. So cameras come in various forms and ways. Plus, the type of camera you get, you sort of go through a phase like last January when I was going through these sort of English cameras, and then suddenly you will get something else cropping up, or you will discover something. And that is what happened with the some of the Ensign cameras I've been using. I didn't realise that the Auto Range series actually started before the war, and I, as you saw, I did a couple of different videos on the early Auto Ranges, and one that included moving bellows, which was an interesting camera. The camera I was sort of looking for in April time was, well, I was looking for this camera from the sort of December, January time, and that was the Auto Range 1620. A very nice camera. I've seen them before, but I kept missing them, and on eBay, every time I seemed to bid for one, it had gone. And I went to Frome Camera Fair, where there was a chap who turned out to be a member of the Photographic Collectors Club, and he had a very nice sample. He wanted a little bit more than I actually wanted to pay, but we came down to a negotiated price. There's a lovely little coffee shop at Frome. Frome Camera Fair happens every April and November. It's not the size it used to be, but it's still a good place to go. You meet people you know, and with a bit of luck you might find a camera or something that you are really looking for there. So it was a nice coffee shop, and I sat down after buying this camera, and I thought, this isn't working. I couldn't get the rangefinder to work. The focusing seemed odd. But this is the great thing if you buy off someone and not online. I was able to go straight back to the vendor, and he explained to me that I hadn't actually got the lens in the right position and I hadn't opened the camera correctly. And within minutes I completely understood the camera and was able to use it and it proved to be an absolute delight, and it's a keeper. So I think what I'm saying is, in buying cameras, it's often really nice to be able to buy off someone directly. So that was in April. May, I went to Photographica in London, which is run by the Photographic Collectors Club, and it has a new venue. It was incredibly busy. I have never known it so busy, which was great for the club. However, I didn't really buy anything. Normally I end up with a rucksack of cameras, and I think I got a couple of things. I've talked before about local auction houses. Sometimes are good, sometimes you just don't know. But again, in the April time, the auction house in Bridport, I thought, again, always study the photographs carefully of an auction, because again, they are going to give you a lot of information. And I thought, that must be a Yashica mat, just from the case. And it was. I took a bit of a punt on it, and it came with a whole lot of sort of early digital cameras, which I might go through, and I might do some videos. It's always a bit of a dilemma. Do I actually do any videos on digital cameras? I've called the channel before digital. I sort of have this great fascination with analog. I have actually thought about doing another channel after digital or something like that. If you have an opinion on that, please make a comment. As I said, I'm not quite sure what to do about that. But the Yashica mat proved to be, actually it was not it was a Yashica Sit 3.5. Lovely camera, but it does, one of you pointed out, there's a little mark, and yes, there's a little sort of ratchet mark, which is to do with the 635. You could get an attachment to put 35mm film in the camera, and that little attachment has a sort of little lever which comes out in the camera, which leaves a little mark on the film. So thank you for pointing that out. That Yashica mat led me to thinking about 120 again, and I do like using 120 film, and it also made me think about my own photography. I love trying these cameras, but what brings me to photography is liking to do photography, the fascination of capturing the image, the composition, the subject, the whole artistic, the printing. That's what sort of drives me in photography. And something that I've sort of thought about during the year is I actually want to sort of do more photography, and perhaps some of the keeper cameras I want to use more. So although I've said in the past I didn't want to do videos more than once on one camera, what I'm pondering on is for the future doing like different films, or looking at composition, or looking at meaning in photography, or or looking at the location, or looking at various aspects of photography, which will enable me to explore photography in more depth. The summer was interesting. As some of you will know, I'm a teacher. Summer holidays are always good. I took the opportunity to actually get my darkroom up and running again, which was brilliant. I've got blinds stored in there. Again, that is something I hope to do some videos on in the new year, actually some darkroom printing. One of you very kindly recently said, could I do a film on processing? I have actually done that, but it's a long time ago. Maybe it's time to do a new one. When was it? September time, I went to a meeting of the Photographic Collectors Club, and there was I'm going to talk about this in more detail in a video, but there was this Lancaster camera. Now, I have always avoided wood and brass because it's expensive, or was, but the camera market, as most of you will know, goes up and down. For example, if you want to buy a Nikon or let's say Olympus MU-02, you need quite deep pockets at the moment, and even deeper pockets for a Yashica Compact T4, where A wood and brass camera, which used to cost you a couple of £100 a few years ago, is about half that price now if you can get the right one. And there's not quite the market or demand. So, and I've always been slightly fascinated by those wooden cameras. So look out for some videos on quarter plate, half plate, filled cameras, wood and brass cameras. It's quite a new venture for me. I've been playing about, but that is definitely something to come in the future. I've got a little list here, little yellow list of things that are going to be coming up in the new years. Things that are going to be coming up in the new year. I discovered when I was tidying up the study of Bruce Beretta. I thought, actually, I don't think I've done a video on the Beretta, which is a very cheap camera, but I'll talk more about that in the future. I've never done a video on pinhole cameras. I've got a couple of pinhole cameras, including one I made years ago. I'm going to do a video on that. I've been able to borrow an Ilford pinhole camera, which is quite fun. I'm going to do something on depth of field. Those are things I'm definitely going to do in the near future. It's been an incredibly dull weather rise here in deepest Dorset the last 2 weeks actually. So I'm looking forward for some sun when I can actually go out and take some photographs and test some of these cameras. I've also got a Minolta coming up, a little Minolta Compact, which is quite a sweet little camera. So, I wish you all the best in 2025. I'm looking forward to making some more videos. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you all soon. Bye for now.